Hey people, it's Eivind here, and I want to speak about power today and how selfish it is to not claim our power. Let's dive in. I'm in a huge transformational process right now. The man that I was when I created Reclaim Unit Throne back in 2014 is gradually starting to fade, and a new me is emerging. A me that is more focused on thriving than on healing. A new me that is struggling with a paradigm that a lot of the men that I have been working with so far are stuck in, which is one of disempowerment and depression and anxiety and not trusting masculinity, not trusting money, not trusting power, so on and so forth. I used to be that guy. So for many years, I've been working to help men recover from that and to start being proud to be a man again, to start showing up in the world and contributing. And yet at the same time, this issue around power has never faded. And so again and again, I've been having conversations with men that have been reacting to me having quote unquote big energy or seeming powerful or so on and so forth. And because of that, they choose not to trust me because they don't trust their own power. And it's exhausting. It's no fun. And I've realized that while Reclaim Unit Throne is a world-leading training when it comes to helping men like that recover their dignity, maybe you're one of these guys that you need to recover your dignity because you just walk through life numb as hell and you're repressing your power, you're repressing your sexuality, you are fearful and you're lying a lot about what's true for you because you're not supposed to be weak and all of these things. And it's just layers and layers upon layers of conditioning that make us into these weird twisted shapes that aren't really at home in the world at all. Not at all. And so the only thing that we have to keep us going is whatever addictive things that we keep shoving into our minds and bodies, and it's hard to be that guy, and it's hard to work with that guy. And what I've noticed is that so many of these men, because just like I was, because they're so attached to their wounds, they're so attached to their misery, they don't get to claim their power. And as I'm leaning into this new stage of my life, I realize that claiming more of my power is really central to it. And in order to claim more of my power, I also need to claim more of my vulnerability, otherwise that power is not safe. But not only that, if I'm going to be wielding a power, I need to be wielding it in service of something, someone. So there are two things that are required in order to wield power, a lot of power, in a positive, generative way. It is that vision, but it's also a humbling, a bowing down to something greater than myself. And so as I'm leaning into more of my power these days, I'm just spontaneously starting to long for the divine, for God, in whole new levels of intensity. So I've been on a path with Tibetan Buddhism and Buddhism a lot in my life, and at the same time, Jesus has been present as a figure because my dad was culturally Christian. I was given the childhood Bible, and I've had various pretty intensive spiritual experiences of integrating Buddhism and Christianity, and I can tell you about that another day. But these days, I notice myself long more and more for God. And knowing that that is so essential for me as I step into this new part of my life. So let's look at what that means. Like, it means to be in service of something bigger. Power, as I speak about it in Ultimate Intro to Masculine Archetypes, is a feature of the warrior archetype. Of course, there are different kinds of power, but power in the way that we generally speak about it is a feature of the warrior archetype. And the mature warrior is one of service, as a man of service. He delivers on the commands of the king. He steps into the vision of the king archetype, and he delivers, he makes it happen. What this means essentially is that without power, I can't serve. I can't show up for other people. I can pretend to show up for other people by whining and being a victim on behalf of others and being in all kinds of tantrums. But you see, that never actually is genuine service of other people. That's burning the world down in a way that makes me feel good about myself. It's hollow virtue. And, well, we're certainly seeing a lot of that in the world these days. And it's ugly. It's ugly to see adults regress to some behavioral pattern that resembles more that of children, and then playing out that in a big way, and then at the same time daring to say that this is of service. It isn't. It isn't. So, oh, I was going to go down here now, but that doesn't look so safe. So why don't I just sit down and finish this recording? It's beautiful out here. It's been a bit colder in Norway lately. We had more than 30 degrees Celsius, but all of a sudden just a couple of days ago, it was down to 12 degrees Celsius in July, which is pretty crazy. It's more like 18 now. It's really a nice spot that I like to go to in my working day to record videos. And yeah, it's not the same spot that I've used for many of the other videos, but I like this lake too. Anyway, to not be willing to claim my power because I have whatever hang-ups with quote-unquote the patriarchy or power itself, that means that I cannot, by definition, be in genuine service of other people. I can only serve genuinely if I have power. When I don't have power and try to serve, there's always a more or less spoken expectation of getting something back. Entitlement is the name of the game. And so this is my message to you today, is that if you're going to genuinely contribute anything of value to the world, it's absolutely not optional to develop power and to develop the warrior archetype in yourself. And as you do that, there will be a gradually increasing need, just as for me right now, of having something greater than myself to bow down to. And that may very well be God. In whatever way, shape, or form that you conceptualize God. I don't care. I'm very liberal when it comes to definitions of the divine. But I know that I'm personally right now being drawn to a more Christian flavor again. And in the teachings around the archetype of the king, it's clear that in order to be a proper king in this world, a humble king, a man who serves the kingdom by living his dharma, then I need to be a servant of the divine. A man or a woman who isn't in service of that divine will be a tyrant. No, it will just happen. By default, this is how it is. Because now it's only about me and my will, you see. And when it's all about me and my will, and not the divine will, the higher will, then, oh, it gets a dirty, dirty game very fast. And now I need to develop all kinds of hollow narratives about how I'm doing this for other people. But secretly, in my office, in my bed, in the closed meeting rooms, it's very clear I'm doing it for myself and the people who are close to me. selfish prick. That's what they are. Maybe you are that. Maybe you're a selfish prick. God knows I can be a selfish prick. It's okay. It's not about shaming. But it is about saying, you need to claim your power. And in order for you to be safe as you increase your capacity to willpower, you need to bow down ever more in service of the higher will, the divine will, the greater life. That is to say, it is a very dangerous game to be leaning into the world in a big way without having any authority that's higher than myself. That authority, it could be science, it could be any number of things that doesn't have a sacred component to it, but ultimately my belief is that this silent voice, this calling that keeps whispering in my ear, however we choose to conceptualize it, the divine, I think that certainly is the divine, and we need to listen to that, and we need to bow down to that. And that sometimes means, and this is where I'm feeling really fucking vulnerable lately, it sometimes means just giving my life away. At which point, it's not my will anymore. It's thy will. It's the greater will. And that's vulnerable. That's really vulnerable. So that's my message. Maybe unexpected, but as I lean into the new version of me that is required for phase 2 of Reclaiming the Throne to rise properly and to be the success and force for good in the world that I know it will be, we're going to reach 1 million men to help them become evolutionary entrepreneurs by 2050. Evolutionary entrepreneurs being men who are dedicated to the vertical growth of humanity and of consciousness, not just the horizontal redistribution of resources. I don't give a fuck what company sells more or less soda water or burgers or shit like that. It's just a waste of my time. But I care about the companies that are dedicated to the increase of consciousness. And almost no companies in the world these days are. And all of these virtue signaling companies now that are just putting on this sham show of being Black Lives Matter or whatever, it's just a farce. They're just playing the game to placate the consumers. It's hollow, it's completely hollow. It means nothing whatsoever. They're pricks. They're selfish fucking pricks that are adopting a popular mindset in order to sell more shit. I know I'm getting more and more controversial lately. So it's in service of your thriving, your awakening, your contributing to the world, the better world that we all want to see. And I wish you a fantastic day wherever you are, and many blessings on you and your path. And may you keep giving more and more of yourself to the world. That's my wish, and I'll see you again next time. Thank you so much for being interested in this radical and quite unusual content. I've spent more than a decade researching this territory, and many of my perspectives may be quite new to you, but I know that you're seeing and watching this right now because you're someone pursuing truth, and a less than mainstream kind of truth, but a truth that feels truly good to you deep in your bones, something that you can trust. I'm not going to help you find truth in all parts of life, but I'm certainly going to help you with what I know about. And if that's something that you want more of, please share this video with someone you care about, and also subscribe to this channel. That's a great support to me and to the work we do with Reclaiming the Throne. And if you want to have notifications every time there's a new video, please also remember to press the little bell. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. Have an ass-kicking day, and I look forward to seeing you next time.